Yo, yo, yo. You already know. It's your boy Professor Pippin back in this be on I Trade the Agent, trying to get live, trying to get active, trying to get at these charts. What's going on, YouTube? You already know what it is. Your boy Professor. Damn. Stuttering again. Got me again. I gotta get my mic right. Hold on. Testing. All right, we in there. All right, let's do it. Coming off last week. Last week about made me shoot a bit, but it was overall, I would say overall break even because we took some L's at the beginning of the week. Um, and then yeah, price action went where we thought it was gonna go. Um, Looking at it from this week's analysis, but I can kind of briefly go over last week's analysis. What I identified from last week's analysis was a little hourly order block right here. I'm about to outline here in yellow. And what we were looking for was price action to come into that order block to then take sales. So as price action broke above structure right over here on the 15-minute, I took buys, got smacked. As we came and broke above here and then created this little resistance right over here, as we broke above this support that pushed us down into the lows, I took buys and got smacked. So now I was like, you know what? I'm fucking mad. But what ended up happening for me, or what I did realize was, I was like, oh, I remember when we did the weekend analysis, because this was like Tuesday by this time. I'm frustrated and I'm upset because I didn't got smacked two. I had on them two trades I just showed, I had like 4 or 5 positions open. So from back in over here, I had 2 positions smacked. Back in over here, I think I had 3 positions smacked. So then I was like, I had stops under here for this one and stops under there. But at this point, I'm upset. Monday, this is Monday right here. So Monday going into London Open, I said, okay, something ain't right. There is no reason I should be getting cooked this many times, especially to the downside. You know, we breaking structure to the upside. We should be pushing up. Why we ain't pushing up? So I went back, I reanalyzed, and what I had was, like I talked about this in one of my previous videos, the structure being from the low to the high, identifying bullish. But then once I thought about it, I was like, you know what? If that's the psychology and that's what we're doing, then we only looking for reaction points once we coming back down. And that's not what was happening. We wasn't getting reaction points right here. We got structure level on the 4 hour. We got the lower high or the higher low to the higher high. We didn't get a reaction from here. We got to break through this level, retest of this high or this area, and then we broke lower. So that should have been the next thing that showed me, okay, we shouldn't be identifying bears. So we should be identifying, we shouldn't be identifying bullishly. We should be identifying bearishly on the daily. And once I flipped that mentality around, even after I took that loss on Monday, I did set up 2 other trades right here. I said, okay, well, if we should be identifying bearishly, we should be looking for the best selling scenario. So price action was somewhere right up in here during the Asian. We bumped down to the 15. I'm doing a weekend analysis, but just kind of walking through my trades from last week. We bumped down to the 15. I took buys as we broke back above right over here and we got smoked. So what I said was, okay, if I should be identifying bearishly, then, you know, these sales should come all the way back down. I do see a little demand area looking left. So I did miss out on the shorts. And depending on how we sharing the screen, let me see. I figured this shit out one time. Nah, I need to figure it out again. More. Oh, yeah. This one. I'm gonna figure out. Hold on 1 second. Nope. I'm trying to figure out how to share the screen so I can show y'all the trades. Flip flop, bro. That ain't what I wanted. Share. Then share options. Nope. Nope. Where is that fucking button? There's a button that lets me go back and change the way I'm sharing my screen. I don't see it, but I'm pretty sure this is probably not going to show up. But the all the different trades I had right up in here. If this is showing on YouTube, then there's a different screen on the chart now, and it basically just shows all my trades from the week, and it shows the trade that I'm about to explain. Where I took the short and missed, but I did catch the long. So right up in here, what was that? Break. Right up in here was the shorts that I missed. price action was right up here. We had just got stopped out. And I said, okay, well, if we should be identifying bearishly, then what we were seeing is we got the structure build here, took the first buy and got smacked. We came lower high, lower low. We came now and broke structure right over here. So mentally during the agent session, I said, okay, well, the buys didn't work out, so why not? Well, when you look back, we just broke structure. So ultimately, when we're breaking structure, we're making a new high. So what I should have been waiting for was a retracement. And then once it came down and started breaking structure on the left, I was still watching it throughout the agent session. Once we started breaking structure on the left, I said, okay, well, where's the demand? Where's the next possible area price action can take off bullishly from? So right down here was that area. Right down here was that area. Price action came down into the area. I caught sniper buys from down there. Watched it push up. I think I took all profits from right up in here. But ultimately, it pushed where I was targeting, which was back into these highs. And then so on and so forth. Price action just went on. But this was Tuesday. During the London session, I was entered into that trade. And then we came back down right up in here. I was looking for the same similar setup as we found demand looking left. Demand here now pushing breaking highs. I did have a buy right above this level here looking left. And then what had happened was when I put my trade in, we look like this, basically basing it off a level looking left. Right over here was entry. So what had happened was I had the stops, I think like 16 pips, something like this, and got smoked below that level. What I should have did was kept my customary 20 pips, and I was upset about this. I was upset about losing this trade. I think a little bit lower right over there because 20 pips did not get hit. We was like way down here somewhere up under this low. 20 pips was a customary stop. Even when I got smacked on the trade that I took initially, I stopped at the 16 pips. I was still watching it, but I didn't want to get in again for the buy simply because we broke structure here, we broke structure here, and we broke structure here. At the time, I was not looking at it as a liquidity grab simply because of how strong and how impulsive this price action is right here coming to the downside, and we broke structure. The thing I did forget about was we was in the Asian session. The Asian session does not normally take out higher time frame zones, levels, or areas of interest throughout that Asian session. That usually takes place during the London or the New York. So I had all these confluences. I had lost. I was upset. I only had one position open, but I was pissed off. I did not get back into the market. And then ultimately, all those buys that I was looking for here, the target up there, the buys from here, the target up there, the buys from here, the target up there, and then the buys from here. The target were up there, but I captured right up in here, basing off this structure here. So as we no, yeah, this is what I was targeting as we came down back into there. And if it continued, ultimate target was up here with TP1 for this setup right here was at these highs, and then it ultimately hit. So then coming back to the next day, this would have been Tuesday. This would have been Wednesday during the New York. Yeah, Wednesday during the New York, I was watching it and I saw that we did tap into that 1 hour order block and then started to shift off. Once we started closing below structure right over here, pulled back, I did take these shells. So I did catch a win right over here. I had like 3 positions open right here. The first one, I smacked out, took all profits at the bottom. The second two, as price pulled back and then dropped again, trailed the stops, and then they both got trailed out somewhere right up in here as the entry was right up in there. So I had a loss, one loss, 2 loss, a win, a miss right up in here. Yeah, miss right up in here. And then from there, what do we do? We did take shorts during the Asian right over here, and we smacked up all this price action. Targets were full targets were right down here to retest this low and or break that low. But ultimately, we caught them things from like way up here during the Asian session. Saw price action push up, didn't break a level we were looking at on a 15-minute time frame looking left, which is this time frame. So right up in here, we wicked out, and then once it pushed up into this level, I automatically switched to the 1 minute. Once we started breaking structure on the 1 minute here, I was in there like swimwear. I want to say 2 or 3 positions open right here. Captured obviously the first profits and targets right up in there, right back at that low, and then let the rest of that thing run on off. And then from there, what I did on Thursday night, still seeing that we were somewhat bearish. I was at a I was in a difficult position, a delicate situation for myself mentally, because we came down here and broke this low. Didn't make sense to me, had me all jammed up. Came up and touched into objective and gave the reaction I was looking for. So as we were looking for this to see if we were going to continue bearish from the higher time frames, what we had was, even though we did touch into that 1 hour order block, it says 4 hour right there, but that's just because I didn't change the numbers. Even though we did touch into that hourly order block right here in the yellow, we came down and we did not break structure looking left. That is vitally important to my trading process and psychology. So coming down here, I should have been taking buys. I should have been looking for buys. So that was my first confluence that we might not continue bearish. And then once we came and opened up during the Asian, um, we came and we wicked out this level here. So then we started to come back down, throw the wicks to the bottom side. And then we didn't show big. I didn't wait long enough. We wasn't showing big bullish potential. We also weren't showing big bearish potential. But since it was bearish, I took the short anyway from right over here. Got smacked. Once it pushed up and started to exhaust again, I tried to short again and got smacked. So then I was done for the week. But ultimately, I wanted the buys from down here. I just didn't wait long enough. And as soon as I got in, I got this candle, this gray bearish candle right here, and then this next bullish candle, and then it went where it went. So ultimately, if I followed my first thought, first confluence didn't break the low. Second confluence was this impulsive move right here. So ultimately, I should have been entering from somewhere down here, which potentially would have gave me 37 pips. And ultimately, if it was going bullish, what I was thinking was we were retesting this hourly order block to potentially grab more orders to continue bearishly and finally break that 4 hour daily low. But it also could break through. And I think it could break through because we tapped into this level and we did not break our time frame structure looking left from this low compared to that low. So ultimately, it was a back and forth week, pretty much break even week on AU. And right now, we just gonna see if price action is going to continue to go bullish. What we're looking at now is the 1 hour resistance, basically this high, this low created this high. So you got the 1 hour support right down here in the white, which I don't really necessarily have to draw it in on the chart, but it's there for whatever reasons. So you got the low to the high retracement. All this is internal 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 minute, 5 minute structure. Not really that important unless you super scalping. But from a higher time frame down, we got the 1 hour support, 1 hour high. We pulled back, didn't break the low. So now we should be expecting price action to continue until we close above this 1 hour resistance. I would not be I can say I would not be looking for those longs, because if we pull back properly today, Sunday, and then got up out of there, I would take buys, but continuation buys. So these buys from down here for me would definitely be some pip and dip action. I'm talking about 20, 25 pips, and I'm trying to get out the market because we could bounce off of any level, any resistance right up here, and then continue to go back bearish and continue with that higher time frame confluence and trend. So we could do definitely breakout buys if we do come back down into this 15-minute level and then shift structure. We could take breakout buys and then see a retest. I don't think I would actually necessarily look for a retest if we broke above this level, because like I said, higher time frames are ultimately bearish. And this move up could just be a liquidity grab of this level here and then possibly retest something looking left. But that's a lot of guessing at this point. So at this point, it would just be look to see what's really going to happen. Do we start off big bearish and start breaking structure here on the 15-minute, bump out to the hourly? The ultimate structure that would tell us that we were going to probably have a bearish week is when we break through this 1 hour support right over here. But for right now, we need to see how we get out of this 15-minute range. Do we come back down, find support right up in here, and then push bullish? Or do we come all the way back down to the range and give you a bearish week? It all kind of depends on what price action does. And then news for this week, it is going to be a very busy week. Starting off shooting at 2:30 tomorrow morning, Monday morning, CPI for the CHF, AUD Monday night. During the Asian, we got cash rate, we got RBA. Tuesday, Chair Powell testifies, federal chair his name is Powell, testifies at 10 o'clock on Tuesday. Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, RBA Governor Lowe speaks for the AUD. That's my jam. Wednesday, we got ADP. We got BOC for the CAD, overnight rate for the CAD. Another testifying from Powell on Wednesday. And then, as it goes on, all this red folder news, monetary policy for the JPY, GDP for GBP on Friday. And then we also got non-farm employment change, NFP, hourly wage earners, employment change for the CAD, unemployment rate for the USD. So tons and tons of red folder news. So if you get into these charts and your price action ain't really, doing what it's supposed to do, is just keep wicking and going crazy, it's because of the news. You got to sit back, and at that point, I think I'll take it from a higher time frame standpoint, because them lower time frames and them wicks and them news breaks gonna break you if you ain't know what's really going on. So ultimately on AU, higher time frames, we are identifying bearishly. We got the 4-hour resistance. We could identify the 4-hour support, but it's in the same area as the daily support, same area as the 1-hour support. So instead of having all these boxes jammed on top of each other, I just kind of keep it as the 1-hour support identified. And then as we break above, then obviously we'll recalculate levels, positions, and then where we think price is going. But ultimately, right now, we're looking pretty rangy right here on the hourly time frame. We need to see how we break out of this range, aggressively bullish or aggressively bearish. Clicking over to the GJs, kind of broad perspective analysis as well. Higher time frames are identifying bullishly from the support to the high. We are somewhat retracing this 4-hourly leg here. We do have a little hourly resistance, hourly support right up in here. So first thing I want to see is a break of this little 15-minute range. If we break above, I want to see how we react from this 1-hour resistance. And then if we exhaust here or break above, it's kind of going to be depending upon what I'm going to do on GJ this week. Ultimately, we do have breakout buys above 164.513. We close significantly above that level, and it lines up, and it looks in a buying manner. Then potentially we could have buys all the way back into that 4-hour resistance for 120 of them things. Or if it comes out bearish and break to the downside, we could have potential breakout shorts from this level all the way back into this 4-hour support for 120 of them things, 116. But either way, you can get active and get busy and get paid. So it just all depends on you. Right now, for me, because GJ is stuck in the middle of this 1-hour range and the middle of this 15-minute range, it's not highlighted for me. This is probably gonna be a Tuesday or Wednesday type scenario that breaks out with this possible buys above. Oh wait, go back. When was that GDP red folder news? We had GDP red folder news. All the way on Friday. There'll be a lot of waiting, a lot of consolidate, and a lot of waiting. So ultimately stuck within the range, looking to see what side we break out of on GJ. Screenshot the numbers right over there on the side. Those are the areas I'm looking to attack from, and we can go from there. Clicking on the GU is somewhat consolidating on the 4-hour time frame from the daily on down. Let's see what we got on the daily. The daily, we are identifying bullishly from the low to the high. We pulled back, found some type of support, tried to break bullishly, tried to break the high here, but did not happen. So we did come back. We did not break this low here. Ultimately, I would have expected this low to be broken, since this low didn't cause a break of the high and then get a retest back into this original demand where price action started from. But right now, we just kind of stuck within the chart. Let me blank the chart so you can kind of see the candles a little bit better. So from, where do we break above? So from the low to the high, right now we're kind of just consolidating. Bust down to the 4-hour. 4-hour, we're making lower lows and lower highs. We got the high, low, lower high, lower low. Potential new lower high because of the breaks of structure right over here. Did not create a new lower low. Potential new lower high, lower than this high. Still didn't break the low. So ultimately ranging on the 4-hour. And within that 4-hour range, we can find support and resistance of the 1-hour structures. Hold Forgot to put something. The weekly open, then we identify to the London because we look for these setups coming from the weekly open until the London session to get active based off weekend analysis. And then if weekend analysis has not lined up by the time we got to the London session, then it's time to reevaluate. And you definitely have more price action by that time. So you definitely can make a more ultimate decision by that time. But ultimately, on GU, based off of this hourly range, we're making lower lows and lower highs. We came up and started breaking structure right over here. We pulled back, gave a resistance, and then kicked to the top side. So since the last impulsive move was bullish, all these blue lines here are areas I'm looking for this to retrace back to potentially take buys. Ultimately, I would like for it to come all the way back down to the red, but it might not make it down there. It might not. And then based off of the 15, those blue lines are just structure on the 15-minute chart. So any of this type action, pull back here, get back up out of there, I would take that. Pull back here, get up out of there, I would take that. And, so on and so forth. And then ultimately, you got the last spot. Now, I would not try to execute on all three of these positions, only one. So if it came here and it pushed up and then it started to fizzle out and roll over, then ultimately I'm looking for the second one again. If it came here, started pushing up, don't break structure looking left and start to roll over, then, we're waiting. We want to see price action shift. So as we are coming down bearishly and we hit whichever level we hit, we want to see a sequence of higher highs and higher lows in order to be able to know that, hey, we probably are in line with this little trend right here that has broken structure on the hourly. So then once we have high, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, any of these higher low points right here potentially could take us to where we're trying to go back up to that top side. So that's what I'll be looking for once price action comes back into any of these levels, this blue one, this blue one, this blue one, and ultimately this red one. So yeah, ultimately GJ bullish on the lower time frames. Not GJ, GU bullish on the lower time frames. Ultimate targets will be back up into this 4-hour resistance. See if we can get up out of that thing, or if we just coming back for a retest. But ultimately, you're looking at a 70, 75, 76 pip range. Who get active? Who get paid? That's GU. Pushing over to UCAD. UCAD is not pretty from the higher time frames down. I think we are identifying bearishly from the high to the low, all retracement action back up in here. And currently on the 4-hour, we are pushing bullish. We are identifying from the low to the high on the 4-hourly. And we are somewhat stuck within an hourly range on the 4-hourly. As we backtrack and see, we got the high to the low. Higher high, I want to say, higher low, failed to create a new high. So ultimately would have expected this level to be liquidated, which it kind of was. Right on over here, this low here, liquidated here, bullish reaction. We did break structure looking left. So if we can see some type of potential retrace back into this 1-hour supply, that could give us the gas to go bullish, but ultimately it's consolidating. So you definitely want to wait for it to break this 1-hour support and see if we can come back down into this 4-hour support. Possible sales below will be breakout shorts below this level. As soon as we break and close, if you want to take that buy, then go ahead and take it. But stops are trailed immediately. There is no chance for retracements on possible sell below low positions because that could just be a liquidity grab for it to come back and go back higher. So that's why with the possible sell below trades, we look for an instant breakout. We trail stops immediately, probably at like 10 pips. We putting stops at break even because we're not looking for no retracement. That's just what it is. And then from there, it's just, see if we come back down. Now, if we get to break out from down here somewhere like this, we push down, come back, and don't enter back in this range, then yeah, we can let that thing continue on way back down to the downside for the rest of the week if it's going to be a bearish week. But if we get that quick, swift, subtle movement like we used to seeing in the market, especially when news come out, right down and right back up, yeah, this is what we're trying to avoid. We don't want this and then come all the way back to entry because then you have a higher probability of price action continuing to go bullish because this move then turns into a fake out as we start to break structures looking left. So as we break and close below here, we bring them stops right along with it. The more it pushed, the more we trail. The more it pushed, the more we trail, because we don't want this retracement move to end up smacking us on the back end. So ultimately consolidating right now on UCAD, waiting for the breakout. If we break bullish, we're looking for continuation buys. Continuation buys look funky too, just because you run right into this daily resistance. Let's see what that range hit for. 80 pips, you potentially could do a break and retest within an 80 pip range. It just all depends on how far that initial push goes. And then to the downside, if we got continuation sales, if there were continuation sales from this area, then we got 220 of them things to the downside. Potentially we can get active on. But that's UCAD ultimately consolidating on the lower time frames, higher time, or consolidating on the hourly, bullish on the 4 hour, bearish on the daily. So that's a whole jumble. So yeah, you definitely want to wait for some guaranteed price action so you don't get guaranteed smoke. Pushing over to UJ identifying bullishly on the daily time frame. It's a tight ass range. It did give me a little issue trying to identify and mark this price action up, simply because for me, when I look at it, looking at breaks of structure. So we got the high, low, no pullback that broke structure here. So ultimately, this was the higher low that gave you the new high, just looking at the charts naked. But if you go down and you do every higher low, higher high, this higher low, well, this necessarily wouldn't be a high low because there's no break of structure to the downside. So ultimately, yeah, this would be your low to the high. How we got it identified? I think it did break before. Let's see. So low to the high. Yeah. This is why this area got identified, because we broke structure here. But on the daily time frame, it doesn't look that clean. We're looking for breaks of structure back to the downside to definitely identify the structure. But as we come here, higher low, higher high, even with this candle being your high at 37,021, this gray candle right here, you then had a retracement and then price pushed higher, 37,105. So now that is why this low point and then this high point is your daily range. When you bring the analysis back, make it big so everybody can see for all the people in the back. We're identifying this low to this high daily range. When you bring it to the 4 hour, you can see a little bit more detail. We got price action pushing up, high. This will be the high. This will be the low. We broke the structure, higher high. So now we're looking for price action to give us a new higher low so we can continue to go bully. If we break, then off to the downside. But if price action is pushing bullish, we're looking for best bullish scenarios, bullish setups. So that's why we have it identified that way. Last 4 hourly zone identified here. As we look at price action with the high. Does that make sense? Low, lower, high, lower, low, break of structure. Okay, that's why. Okay, yeah. We got a low break of structure here with the high, higher low, high right over here. This is considered the higher low because this push here is what broke structure. We got a little bit of retracement and then on to the next. So then as we come back down, we broke the first level structure right here. So this all right here is one push for me, retracement area, which would be the high on the 4 hour time frame. And now we're reacting to the downside. You come to the hourly, you can see it a lot cleaner. Price action push up, pull back, push up. So this will be the low. We look at all the way over until price action breaks that low. And then we say from this high all the way down to that price action where we broke the low, which will be right over here. And then lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, break of structure, 4 hour high, and now we're reacting bearish. We cannot identify that 4 hour support just yet because we haven't created it. And then what we do have to the downside is this daily support area right here with this blue line level entries. We're looking for price action to pull down into that blue line to see if it sets up potentially give us buys, but we don't know. We got to wait for it to get there. Price action has got to come down for even this scenario to play out. Looking for it to come back down at least 33 more pips back into area right over here. A little demand that pushes into the highs right up here and see if it's going to give us a potential setup. Now, if we don't go any more bearish and we open up big bullish and close above that 136, 180, then potentially we could be looking for continuation buys. It is a tight ass range right up in here. 14 pips. you're definitely probably gonna lose taking continuation buys because by the time it breaks out, it's probably just gonna go ahead and push for those 14 pips and then return. So, oh no, that's possible. I thought that's a continuation buys. My bad. That's breakout buy. So you could take a breakout buy right there, 14 pips, smack up your target and be done, or you can wait. For me, I want to see price action how it reacts once it comes into this blue area right here. If we just flat out break back through, then we got the bearish continuation zone. Bearish continuation zone and break and retest trades. So if we break right through my area of interest that I'm looking for, then now my psychology would switch to see if price action sets up for the breaking continuation of the bearish continuation zone at 135, 254. So ultimately playing the hell out of these structures. Structures is the way. Anybody that tell you different is fucking lying. You can put whatever strategy, whatever indicators you want to put up against structure. But once you really learn how to identify structure, the rest of that shit is obsolete. Like there's no point because it's all based off of the structure and the supply and the demand within that structure. So once you learn how to read structure, the rest of it you don't really need, my friend, because it's a waste of time, my friend. A waste of time. If you go back and you watch any of my weekend analysis and then you watch the compare and contrast video for that week, you will see that the structure is where you want to be. It takes you where you want to go. Where you want to go, my friend. But that's it for you, Jay. Kind of funky right up in here. It wouldn't. I don't trade UJ probably like once a month. So I wouldn't have the best confidence in this setup unless I was sitting at the chart, saw price action exhausted this level, and then got the sniper from down here. Just because I know UJ like around a good bit. So this right here is extremely choppy as well. So definitely want to see what happens once price action hit my zones, and then we'll get on through. Looking at gold, 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 gold. Gold, gold, gold. We are identifying bearishly on the daily from the lower high to the lower low. When you bump down to that hourly, what we can see is a break of structure from that daily time frame with the high. You can say low right here, lower high, lower low, lower high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, the lower low right up in her. Or is this the lower low? I had this shit identified earlier and I deleted it. It's all about the breaks of structure to kind of identify. So high, low. Yeah, this broke lower high, lower low. We could say fuck. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right over here. And now we got the break of structure here. So what we did was we pushed up. I had to have identified this differently. Yes, I did. High to this low, new lower high on a 4-hour time frame. That makes sense because as we were pushing all of this push here, this is the high that started this move all the way to the downside. This is low. So from this low to the high is the range on the 4-hourly. We pull back, we break structure looking left. So that's why this is the new lower high. Then this is the low that we're paying attention to. So we want to wait until price action breaks that low to see if we're going to get continuations. Right over here is where we broke that low. We pulled back and created a new low. Right over here, we broke structure, pulled back, broke again. So we could have said lower high, new lower low. But what you had immediately was a break of structure right over here. You had a pullback, then you had a new high, and now you have a new higher low, higher than this low. So that is why we're identifying bullishly on the 4-hour and then bearishly on the daily. So the 4-hour is basically retracing the impulsive move from the daily time frame. And we were looking for price action to come all the way back into 1879 to see if we react and roll over back bearishly. But right now, on the 4-hour time frame, we are pushing bullish. Go ahead and delete all that. So we got the 4-hour higher low that pushed, and we have not created that new higher high on the 4-hour time frame just yet. So what we do is we bump down to the hourly and see where is the significant hourly support level to say, okay, we don't have that hourly resistance just yet either. But if we do start to come back down, this is the first area where I'm looking for price action to sort of build a support area. If we break through, then the odds come back to the 4-hour support. If we break through, then we got some imbalance areas down here on the bottom we're looking to get active from, but ultimately we pushing bullish. So we should be looking for the best bullish scenario until, for me anyways, we hit that 1879. So ultimately on gold, if we come out big bullish, I would want to see how far it keeps pushing big bullish until it creates a resistance and pull back. Once it creates that pullback, then I'll know for sure if I can get active. Because if this is the 1 hour support and we push up tonight and then come down, going into the London session and start doing this action, as long as we never break this 1 hour support here, then your boy will be looking for buys back into that 1879. So this could, push up as far as it wants until it creates that next bearish candle and starts coming back down and doesn't break that 1 hour support. Then yeah, we definitely try to take them buys to the top side. Yeah. Euro USD, did not analyze this, but it's pretty much lining up the same way AU is, for the most part, and GU. So if you pay attention to those analyses, you kind of get the same gas on EU. Ultimately, 4 hours. Let me see. Daily is identifying bearish. You got the high to the low. This would have been the low right over here, lower high, pushed all the way down, lower low. So right now, we are retracing daily time frame. So daily would be identified from this high point right up here all the way down to this low, with the retracement phase starting on the 4 hour time frame from this high to this low. 4 hour resistance would be right here. This is the low that created. So 4 hour support would be right here. So now we're stuck within this 4 hourly range, and so on and so forth. So price action has already retested this little 4 hourly support slash demand area right here, and it's starting to give a bullish reaction. If we break this high right over here, close above at 1.06913, then definitely we could be looking for deeper retracements back into this daily high, and then see how price action reacts from there. Outside of that, that's all I got. My stomach bubbling. I've been drinking coffee all morning. I got to go. It's time to, yeah, you already know. But that's all I got for this one. Like and subscribe. You got any questions? Hit them comments. Hit them comments, baby. We do this on a daily, baby. It ain't stopping because the money is flowing, baby. But yeah, I think I'm about to slide up out of that thing. I got things to do. I got a place to be and things to see. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. I'm out.